Hello. Sometimes I wonder if I should follow my heart and fulfill my dreams, or follow my mind and see what life brings. Destined to find my path, I'm being pulled both ways, and it sometimes makes me wonder, what if the right one slips away? So should I base my life on all my current actions, or live for today and not tomorrow's satisfaction? I guess I just live with what I've been provided, even if I still remain undecided. This poem was written by a 13-year-old girl. So lost and confused, this girl had no idea who she was or even who she wanted to be. She was undecided and didn't know where to go with her future, until one day she realized that the only way to move was forward. One day, my mom sent me to spend the night at my Aunt Deborah's house, but that one night turned into several days. Eventually, I got the news that my mom wanted me to live with my aunt. I felt abandoned and unwanted. Do you know what it's like to just be given away and not know why? I wasn't a bad kid. I did well in school. My reason was since my younger sister Chelsea was just born, maybe my mom no longer had a reason for me in the house. I was told that it was because of my mother's heart condition and that it would only be until she could be financially stable. I took these as lies. I was heartbroken considering my father had been incarcerated all my life. Now I was being stripped of my mother too. At the age of 12, I started to gain that sense of family again. My mom and sisters came to stay for a few months and it felt great. Playing games, watching TV, and celebrating birthdays. It was what I had wanted for so long, a real family. I was absolutely happy living with my aunt and uncle, but having my mom and sisters there all the time was indescribable. Later that year, my mom moved out, so I figured that she would settle and establish in her own home. And then the thought of me being able to move back in with her finally seemed to be an option. Of course, I was wrong. I found out that my mom was in a shelter. The thought of my family sleeping in unfamiliar buildings night after night with strangers made me sick. I felt like my entire family had given up on my mom and didn't want to help. My perfect family had been perfectly crushed. My mom couldn't keep down a job, and her constant hospital visits weren't really helping her financial situation. It was awful because I felt like I couldn't help the woman who gave me life. She was there for all the milestones, but it was the little moments that I felt like I was being deprived of. And somehow, I felt like I owed her. I never went to see my family in the shelter because visiting them put too much of an emotional strain on me. My family was helpless, and since I was only 13, I figured that I couldn't help them. And at this point, it wouldn't even make a difference. All I could do was support her by staying happy. At this moment, I was just confused, lost, and in desperate need of a stable environment. I wanted to help my family or just help someone to fill this void. I didn't want to give them something physically, but instilling something mentally maybe. This led me to give back in a way that I knew I could. I was 14. I graduated the Minds in Motion program at the Richmond Ballet and decided to give back. I wanted to make up for the past in a way that would change my outlook in life. Upon graduation, I volunteered as a teaching assistant for Minds in Motion. This involved teaching the kids dance moves, keeping attendance, and just being an overall role model to the kids. This lasted for 2 years and totaled over 300 hours of community service. As I said before, this filled a void. I was finally able to help someone, but this did more than that. It sparked something in me that was eager to help more people. Through community service, I was helping build character, leadership, and integrity. By helping others, it was helping me develop into a more loving person. I became appreciative of the ones that I was actually able to help, rather than mourn over the fact that I wasn't able to help my own family. At the age of 15, I found a stable place known as the Fairfield Boys and Girls Club. I joined about 7 or 8 years back when I had first started living with my aunt, but never went back after about a month. Now I was back, and actually, it was by accident. I only came to the club because my god sisters were members, one being Imani, who was Fairfield's Juniors of the Year. All I wanted to do was use the vending machine and go back outside. If not for Miss Jones asking Imani who I was, she would have never insisted I teach dance at the club. My first mission was the Zumbathon at the Central Club. It was a success. Other projects included the annual Jamboree and the flash mob at the 2012 Distinguished Leadership Academy banquet. This made me feel accomplished, and by this time, everything was going great in my world. My mother and sisters were out of the shelter and resided in Jackson Ward. She had a job, and even though we weren't always together, things seemed to be better. I was no longer useless and helpless to those in need. Community service and volunteering has been my outlet for years. Holiday feedings at the shelter and planning a teen summit for the kids in my community are just a few things on my list. I am also currently volunteering in and outside of school with the Blue Sky Fund, Special Olympics, Key Club, the Charity Committee of the SCA, and the Big Brother Big Sister program. Mr. Morris, my club director, always says, time is something you'll never get back. It waits for no one. So I make sure I use mine effectively and with a purpose. Between studying for AP and dual enrollment classes, community service, volunteering, extracurricular activities, and fulfilling my club duties, I still make time to hold down a part-time job. This may seem as a full load to some, but to me, it's a part of my life routine. Having a job, I was actually able to give back to my mom in a way that made up for the past. We have been through predicaments where I have paid her rent when she wasn't able to, and I've also been able to buy them groceries when she couldn't put food on the table. No, I may not have the privileges others may have in life, but at the Boys and Girls Club, they help me understand, analyze, and execute my plans so that my disadvantages turn into advantages. Who knew that just buying a bag of chips out of the snack machine would turn out to be so rewarding and fulfilling? That poem written by the 13-year-old girl was published last year, proving that she has left something for people to remember her by, and she doesn't regret the person she was, because all that matters now is the person she has become. She is no longer undecided. She knows exactly where she is going and is determined to help every person she can along the way. She may have been lost for a while, but because of the Boys and Girls Club, she found that giving back is what helped her move forward. Needless to say, that girl was me.